Good morning. Thanks for coming out this early and hearing our pitch. My name is Devin Young. I'm a co-founder and president of Classcraft, and we're building an engagement management system. So high-level student engagement is really critical in K12. A lot of issues that schools are facing are really pinned to that, things like attendance, academic performance, school climate, social emotional development. And so has anybody here heard of this? Fortnite. Has anybody here maybe seen this, right? If you're in school, you've seen this. And the reason you've seen this is because games have an innate ability to create meaning and drive motivation internally, right? So it's creating culture in schools with students because they care about what's happening in games. And so Classcraft is building an engagement management system. So think SIS, LMS, EMS. And we're redefining the experience of going to school. We're turning going to school into a game that lasts all year long. You're with your friends in teams, and you're developing non-cognitive skills. This is a teacher in Chicago. She's teaching the way she normally teaches. There's books out, and she's walking around and giving points to behaviors that she's observing in the classroom. There's apps within the ecosystem of tools where you can do formative assessment with students and teams. And we have schools that use Classcraft to turn their school into Hogwarts, right? So giant teams across all the grades gearing up for these big events around the school year. And as you can see, the students here are pretty primed to be there. So when you get your school culture into this state, you start addressing a lot of these issues that are hard to sort of move forward. So the company has been growing. We've been around for 5 years. We have 5.5 million users. We're in 1 in 3 US schools. We're in 165 countries, 11 languages, and we're generating revenue. The product itself is really a classroom management app with a bunch of other tools that are graphed on there. It creates an environment where we're trying to be thoughtful about the game mechanics. We're moving beyond sort of points and badges and that kind of stuff and really kind of get into the subtleties of how do you create relationships between students, make them accountable to one another. And so the game impacts real life. You get to hand in homework late or ask questions on exams as you kind of progress through the school year. And it's customizable, so we run from about grade 2 to university. We also have a marketplace and a system where you can take your lessons and turn them into adventures. We launched this 18 months ago to a lot of success. We've had 6 million homework assignments handed in, 200,000 quests made by teachers. We've integrated with Google Classroom, Discovery, and a handful of other folks. And we also generate a ton of data. So on average, we're logging about 50 million data points a month. And what that means is that the students want the points, and the teachers end up actually putting that in with fidelity, and so we're starting to get visibility on what's going on in the classroom in a way we haven't before. And so we have built a Google Analytics sort of suite of things that are measuring a lot of soft skills, student engagement, school climate, non-cognitive skill development, and we've created an index for school climate for districts to be able to see what's going on across the district in terms of climate in their schools. What's really interesting is that that data is actually the bedrock to an AI project that we're kicking off right now with the University of Montreal. Montreal is one of the hubs internationally for AI. And so we're working with them to use that information to create real-time personalized PD for teachers. So teachers are going to learn how to better teach their students based on how their students are using this gaming system. And so really excited about that. The idea is to give them recommendations kind of gradually over the course of the school year. Think about your email, Gmail. It's kind of telling you what you should write next. Kind of that idea in terms of PD. We see PD as being a massive business opportunity for us. Just sort of there's budgets there. On average, if you look at how much districts are spending on teachers and then amortize that to the students, it's about $660 per student. Right now, we're selling Classcraft at $5 a student, and we're hoping to move that to $30 in the next handful of years, and then move that internationally. And we think that there's a pretty massive opportunity there. In terms of the competition, we're the only ones that we've seen that are really trying to address engagement at a systemic level. So there's a lot of folks doing a lot of different things that are kind of connected, but for us, we really see that as an opportunity to partner with them and to amplify the work that they're doing using student engagement. We've got an awesome team. Oddly enough, I run the company with my brother, and our third co-founder is our dad. Yes, it feels like allowance every time I get a paycheck. We also have some folks on the team that have built schools in Chicago. Eric Davis, curriculum company, And we have an advisory board that's pretty amazing, including Kimberly Harrington, who was the former commissioner of Ed for New Jersey, Connie Yao, who ran the MacArthur Foundation, Jean Godin, who's the creative director of Assassin's Creed, who's helping us build out the IP and all this kind of stuff, and Thierry Carsensi, who's the EdTech chair of Canada, who's going to be building out the AI piece with us. We're Canadian-based, so it means that our burn is really low. We're spending about $150K a year, and we have 45 people, or sorry, a month, and we have 45 people on staff.
Thanks very much. Now
thanks.
we'll hear from WeThrive.
When I was 7, my mother told me that we couldn't afford a toy. Wasn't a budget, we couldn't afford it. So upset, but still determined, I grabbed a stack of newspapers, sold them to anyone I saw for any amount that they would pay. And sure, they probably only bought it for me because I'm a cute little 7-year-old selling newspapers, but I made enough to purchase my toy. And that lens, that approach, years later would allow me to transcend from an under-resourced household, low-income neighborhood, to attend college and achieve my goals in a neighborhood where many don't. Now with WeThrive, we're bringing that same lens and approach to millions of students and under-resourced communities as well. WeThrive is a platform for K12 Entrepreneurship Education, where we specifically train and work with students in the classroom as change agents. Using entrepreneurship as a practice field, their students are creating real companies, earning real revenues, earning $250 and up at the age of 11. Furthermore, we're also taught during the school day, but let's say 3rd or 4th period, something right after science, but just before physical education. We're making future readiness as a central part of the American school system. And we start with the untapped and overlooked potential. WeThrive stands out from our primary entrepreneurship education individuals in 4 main ways. One, as I mentioned a moment ago, we start at age 11, which means we're more than high school. We reach students whose identity and habit are still forming. Second, we were built as a platform, which means that we don't need to be within your local community, working with your local schools and your local teachers in order to work with your students. Any school can have access to our platform and receive the same education during their school day from the teacher in the classroom. Third, all of our students build real companies. These aren't business pitches or plans about what they might do. Our students are really selling their product or service. Fourth, we focus on the ignored and overlooked. Though our platform is open to all individuals, we actually centralize around under-resourced communities, and most of our participants are 90% of our participants are under-resourced communities from low-income backgrounds, ensuring that tomorrow's leaders looks like tomorrow's world. Because our platform stems so much engagement in the classroom from teachers and students, we're looking to turn that community and monetize it. Starting with individual colleges and corporations who are looking to diversify their audiences themselves. So we're primarily targeting admissions as well as jobs and internships. Furthermore, we're also looking at city government as well to try to work with the key pain point that they sometimes feel. Let's say, for example, when pre-K for all first rolled out, it was actually very difficult for a lot of city governments to roll that out and reach the individuals who needed it most. And so we're working with city governments on future initiatives. Pre-K for all is, of course, done as we continue to roll out as well, but primarily focus on colleges and companies who have that existing need. And then, of course, just as an education company, that at the end of the day, our core product for the teacher in school is a curriculum. We are also able to sell directly to network of charter schools as well as districts. And as a 501c3, we're not only allowed to enable all of these revenues, but also receive impact grants as well, as we already have done, as well as corporate sponsorships like the sponsorship that you see that we ran here with Upwork. So far in just 3 years, we've amassed to more than six cities, more than 2,000 young entrepreneurs a year, and more than $300,000 from corporate sponsors like Fossil, Microsoft, and WeWork, amongst many others that you might see on this page. And this fall, rather than continuing to scale WeThrive as a direct platform that we sell individually into schools, we're actually going to centralize the platform and take a step back to allow strategic host of partners to also place their curriculum on our platform to pave the way to serve more than 50,000 students by fall of 2020. Think code.org of entrepreneurship. And we have the methods to do it. We have the influencers in our space like the Forbes 30 Under 30 list, as well as Echoing Green. We have teachers and principals who already love us and spread us organically. And we have partners like Campaign for Black Male Achievement, who have already paved the way from our Brothers Keepers initiative. And of course, tweets from Hillary Clinton don't go without mention as well. We earned more than 36 leads as well. Our leadership has expertise from top leading enterprises like Ashoka. I myself have been recognized as the Forbes 30 Under 30 list and Echoing Green. And we have smart people to guide our growth as well, like key top people in the education sector. Imagine a world where every 14-year-old earns, sorry. So I know I'm transitioning. Imagine a world where every age 14-year-old learns the future-ready skills they'll need to thrive in tomorrow's economy. We're already doing that throughout 12 major cities. With your support, we reach millions more. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We're really mean about the timing in the morning here because we have to get to our keynotes. So it's time to vote. Tell us what you think. And we're watching the results here to see who's the winner for this year. And WeThrive is our winner. So congratulations to all of our winners and all of our finalists and semifinalists. They all did a great job pitching yesterday, and we'll be in touch and taking some photos a little later in the day.